Hello and welcome to City Corner. I'm your host, Todd Blackstock. On today's show, Wendell Covington Jr. will join us to discuss Fair St. Louis and the VP Community Impact Foundation. Also, DrConnieSHayes will tell us about her role with the 2024 U.S. Olympics. So stay with us for City Corner coming up next on STL TV. Our first guest today is the Executive Director of the VP Community Impact Foundation, Wendell Covington Jr. Wendell, thank you so much for joining us on City Corner.
Thank you for having me, Todd.
I tell you what, you've been in this role now for a year and a half. A lot of great things are going on. And could you give us a little background on what's going on with the Community Impact Foundation?
Well, you know, the VP has always been committed to St. Louis, and I was brought on a couple of years ago to lead this new foundation to make a broader and bigger impact on St. Louis. With the hopes of making St. Louis a better place for all. So promoting equity and inclusion, but more importantly, to help nonprofits manage the outcomes at higher levels.
Now, I guess at the base, your organization has 3 community service pillars. If you could maybe set the tone in the background for that.
Yeah, so our foundation is organized around 3 pillars: community service, board leadership preparation and placement, and business mentoring.
Okay, well, let's start. Let's go into business mentoring right now because you team up with Beyond Housing, and that looks like a pretty neat thing. We've got some pictures.
Absolutely. So we are a collection of 1,400 business professionals, and we know that these business professionals have great business acumen, relationships, best practices, knowledge, and so our opportunity is to help cultivate the next generation business professional and entrepreneur through our partnership with Beyond Housing through a program that we call BizSmart. And so what we do is take local residents from the Normandy community, the St. Louis community, who have an idea that needs to be cultivated and also developed in such a way that will position them for long-term sustainability and eventually capital.
You know, how important is that for people to have access to housing and have people working on communities in probably a volunteer role?
Absolutely. So, you know, these men are very esteemed professionals in the region. And so they volunteer their time, their talents, their treasures, and they connect with these potential entrepreneurs to help them with best practices beyond the idea phase. But more importantly, how can they cultivate and develop their business into a real money-making endeavor? We know that employment may not always be readily available to everyone in the St. Louis community, but some people may have a skill set, may have a knowledge, may have a passion that we can monetize to help them become more productive citizens in St. Louis.
If one of our viewers wanted to get involved with that program, what would they do?
Well, they can always contact the VP Community Impact Foundation, as well as Beyond Housing, their staff at Beyond Housing, BizSmart program.
Perfect. And the St. Louis Bike Build is a really cool thing. I know that's kind of in conjunction, with members of the VP and the Community Impact. And I believe they go out looking for bikes and then they build them and then give them away later?
Yeah, the second pillar, again, what the VP is known for is community service. And so these are the special events or one-time episodic events that help nonprofits manage the outcomes and help them reach the goals of their clients. One of these projects is our bike build that we partnered with Mission St. Louis. We built over 100 bicycles, and then we actually deliver those bicycles to the community where they can purchase them at affordable rates so everyone can have a great Christmas. You know, we're in a position now to where we're gearing up our community service season. And so not only do we partner with the Mission St. Louis's, but we partner with the Youth and Family Center. We're actually working on building a $350,000 playground right now. We've worked with Girls Inc. We've helped install irrigation systems. We've done projects with first responders. Southside Early Childhood Center is a new partner that we plan to do some projects with. And so the idea is to leave the nonprofit better than we found it, and to enlist the hundreds of volunteers to help give back and make St. Louis a better place for all.
And some of the members, they do get together, periodically, and I understand you have a big gala coming up at the end of May.
Absolutely. We cannot provide the service and the commitment to the community without raising funds. And so our annual gala will be on May 30th. It will be at the World's Fair Pavilion here in Forest Park. It'll be a great night of fun and entertainment. But more importantly, we get to highlight these great partners that we've partnered with over the past few years.
Now, we touched on the third pillar yet. Okay, so we got all three in.
No, we haven't touched on the third, which we're really excited about, is board leadership.
Board leadership.
And so with nonprofits, we know the board of directors are critical in helping these nonprofits meet and manage to their outcomes. And so we're taking this cadre of business professionals, help to train them and guide them on the expectations of board leadership and serving on nonprofit boards. And then we strategically infuse them in nonprofits where they can best utilize their skill set. And so the idea is to help nonprofits evolve from a scarcity mindset, helping nonprofits to evolve from nonprofit charities, but begin to employ business practices that will help them create sustainable revenue streams, but more importantly, manage the outcomes at higher levels.
Each year for, 140-something years now, the St. Louis, the Veiled Prophets put on one of the greatest parades and celebrations in the United States.
Absolutely.
And the organization has really evolved over the last 100-and-something years. I mean, it started out as the Veiled Prophet, then you have the VP, then you have Celebrate St. Louis, America's Birthday Party. So it seems like the organization is evolving and growing with the community and moving on with society and new ways of doing things.
Absolutely. The fair has always been a celebration of St. Louis, right? And the opportunity to showcase what's good that's happening in St. Louis. And I think, now by employing the new foundation and hiring me as an executive director, is very intentional about promoting inclusivity and making sure that we have an opportunity to promote equity and make sure that St. Louis is a viable place for everyone to live in. And then so the parade and Celebrate St. Louis is that external gift to St. Louis to say, hey, we're proud of St. Louis. We appreciate the myriad of cultures and experiences in St. Louis. And so it's just a great celebration to highlight what's good.
Well, this year is going to be one day again, Thursday, July 4th. It kicks off at 10 a.m. with a parade, and the Misty Blues female skydiving team is going to kick it off. That should be fun.
Well, yes, a lot of good fun, family fun, a lot of good entertainment. Again, we hear about the negatives in St. Louis. This is an opportunity for us to galvanize and create a celebratory atmosphere for all involved.
How do you feel about changing the name? Do you think that's better, kind of moving on to a different era?
Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time to evolve, like you say, be nimble with the times, be more inclusive, and ensure that everyone feels comfortable and included to participate in this family-friendly environment.
Well, after the parade and then the Misty Blues female skydiving teams, which kicks it off, the celebration opens at 1 p.m. There'll be an air show at 2. At 4 p.m., salute the troops and the folds of honor. That's always huge because, this is our country's birthday.
Absolutely.
We have the Gateway Legends, and then the concerts and the bands start at 4:40. Everybody's excited about that. We have Luke Fiasco.
Fiasco is going to be awesome.
Feel.
Absolutely.
Low Cash and the Urge from the area.
Absolutely.
So people are going to be rocking downtown St. Louis on the 4th of July. And that's, any thoughts about...
Great bands, man, and it's appealing to everyone's interests.
And it's free.
And it's free. That's the beautiful thing about it. And that's our big contribution to St. Louis. And, of course, along with the work that we're doing with the Community Impact Foundation, we really want to be a real lightning rod for what's happening in St. Louis.
Wendell, I don't think people understand how much work and time has evolved because, putting on Fair St. Louis, it takes hundreds of volunteers and thousands of man hours and people giving their own time.
Absolutely.
Here's, CEOs and presidents of company around the region that are giving and volunteering their time to put this on. so you can have a blast on
Absolutely.
the 4th of July and, go out and enjoy the fireworks and everything. The fireworks come at 9:40. It's going to be an amazing firework display again. We got a couple minutes left. This is also the 150th anniversary of Eads Bridge.
I know. History, man.
It's almost all kind of started at the same time.
It's culminating at the same time. This is a great opportunity. We have such rich history in St. Louis. I think the country needs to know how great of a region that we have and how we've been the tentacles for other cities in the nation. And,
sure.
And we've been that example, and so we're really excited about it.
You got the spring fling and the fall fling going on.
Absolutely.
With the VPs. But it all culminates in one of the grandest events of the year is the Veiled Prophet Ball, the VP Ball. And, it's just so many people get involved, and it's, I guess, the culmination of the celebration of the year.
Absolutely.
And it's the final.
It's the big finale, and as well as our community service projects. They last through the summer and kind of culminate in December, and so they all kind of coalesce together.
Any final thoughts before we let you go?
Look, I am really excited about building these new partnerships, building these new relationships, and more importantly, leaving St. Louis better than we found it. I think we're excited about building the next generation entrepreneur. We're excited about helping nonprofits do their work more effectively. And more importantly, we love the fact that our members are excited about giving back to St. Louis, and we need that.
Wendell Covington Jr., thank you so much for joining us here on City Corner.
Always fun. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a quick break now, but stay with us as Dr. Connie Hayes joins us on the flip side. We'll be right back.
There's so many reasons to love St. Louis, you can't pick just one. From the arts, architecture, and culture. An all-new development, including the Cortex Community Center. And you're never too far from great music and entertainment.
So come and experience St. Louis.
When you graduate, they graduate.
Vengo de Honduras. Ya tenía 19 años y no tuve el tiempo de entrar a high school por mi edad. De repente miré un flyer donde decía, termine su high school, y en letras grandes español. Dije yo, ¿será posible?
Yo estoy muy orgullosa porque sí luchó por sacar su diploma.
Este proceso yo creo que no lo hubiese terminado sin la ayuda de mi mamá y de mi hermana. La educación es muy importante y estoy haciendo un futuro mejor para mi hijo.
Encuentra clases gratis para adultos cerca de ti en completatudiploma.org.
Luke! 911, where's your emergency?
Everyone's on their way. What happened?
Your friend's not breathing.
She's dead? Yes, please get my mom and dad. Oh my God!
I tell my son I love you every single day.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back to City Corner. Joining us now is Dr. Connie S. She's the owner and CEO of Fit for Life Sports and Rehab here in St. Louis. And Dr. Connie, thank you so much for joining us here today on City Corner.
Todd, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
You know, I've had the opportunity to run into you and work in conjunction with you over the years during football, junior football league and high school football broadcasts and things. And you seem like a person that really likes to give back to the community and stay involved and do what you can to help people.
I really do, Todd. I mean, I come from a large family, so I guess my parents kind of instilled that in me to always be busy doing something. Because, Todd, at the end of the day, we're on this earth for each other, right?
Sure.
So, and sports, I just love. I'm excited about any sport. I'm super competitive.
You know, when the Rams came to St. Louis in, I guess, 1995, a couple of friends of mine were chiropractors. And originally, all of a sudden, I'm getting to meet, Mike Jones and, Toby Wright, Mike Grudadoria, Ryan McNeil, guys that played for the Rams. And that was in the forefront of utilizing chiropractors in sports. They're one of the first teams to do it. And I know you were an executive or a high position over at Logan College of Chiropractic in Chesterfield. And you've been involved now for over 20 years in sports rehabilitation and all sorts of things in the chiropractic business. Can you give us a little bit of background about Fit for Life Sports Rehab and what are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I was the assistant director of the sports medicine department at Logan University College of Chiropractic, right? And graduated, actually, Todd, I hate to say it, 24 years ago. So I've been doing this for a while. And we've always been a profession that has been on the forefront of sports medicine, but not just sports medicine, wellness and wholeness, and helping you become better biomechanically, naturally. So that's the main vein of our sport, of our profession.
It seems like with the chiropractors, the thing is it's trying to get your body to heal itself.
Yes.
You'll get all the blood vessels and everything moving so that you can heal yourself without using all kinds of drugs which just mask the pain.
Right, exactly.
But you've been involved with sports and Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club and Cardinal Ritter and things, but there's something it may be a little bit beyond that right now, as I do want to congratulate you on your, your involvement with the 2024 U.S. Summer Olympic team.
Yeah, as a sports medicine doctor, I couldn't be more excited and thrilled to be involved in what we call the Journey to Paris. It's, I've been selected to be on the med team for Paris 2024 Olympics. I just got back from the Bahamas where we had the World Relays. It's first time ever that we've had the World Relays actually qualify teams for the Olympics. So before, you would just go over and you would run in the World Relays. But now, it really, this time it really meant something because you could qualify your country and you knew, you punched your ticket, you were gonna go, you're going to Paris. So the U.S., we should be really proud of our athletics, is what we're called in Europe, right? The athletics, but everyone else knows us as track and field. So track and field, we really are just phenomenal at it. And we showed that this past weekend in the Bahamas by qualifying 5 teams, took first in 4 of those 5 teams, and just in an outstanding distance. Like, we didn't just win, there was no contest.
It was domination.
We did. We dominated. So
how did you get involved with the U.S. Olympics and the national team and everything like that?
Well, as I said, I've been doing this for 24 years. So for about 15 years, I had been involved in USATF locally. So all those little boys and girls who are running around, and they look so cute in their sunglasses, running 50 meters, right? It started at Logan, that in the sports medicine department, we would do track meets every weekend in the summer. And I was like, okay, I understand a track meet on Father's Day, but a track meet on Mother's Day? Oh yeah, we're going to have a track meet then too. 4th of July? Yeah, we're having a track meet then too. So got involved in that, and you start treating them when they're this tall. Well, those young boys and girls grow up in sport, and they go on and they become professional runners, or they become NFL players, and they still come back and see me and talk to me and keep me abreast of what's going on in their life. So at some point I said, well, I probably need to follow some of these guys. So there's certain things that you have to do to qualify yourself to apply to USA Track and Field, right? You can't just be any chiropractor off the street and say, hey, yeah, I want to do this. And they go, great, do you have this, this, and this? So you actually have to have a sports medicine qualification. That's extra schooling that you have to go through. And then there's extra board exam that you have to take and, yes, pay for, and then maintain. And you have safe sport qualifications because we have to keep our athletes safe. And I have to know how to do that. And the organization has to know that I know how to do that, right? So you got all these qualifications that you have to meet, and they have to be up to date annually. And so through that, I actually went to an annual meeting in Indianapolis, and they were honoring the 1968 Olympians. And it was fantastic. So I got to meet all of those guys. And if you haven't researched them, yes, exactly. I have that poster in my office signed by those gentlemen. And Fosbury was on that.
The Fosbury flop.
The Fosbury flop changed the high jump forever, right?
Yeah.
And kids don't even know that you used to go over scissor leg, and they just like, what? So all of those guys were at this meeting, and that was the start of my USATF career.
So how do you balance traveling abroad with the Olympic team and your practice? Because you do have to make money and take care of your clients.
Yes.
But then how can you pass up the opportunity to help train and keep well these world-class athletes?
Great question, Todd. So what I have to do is recruit younger chiros to come into my office to treat my patients in my absence. They'll do that. And I have, at Fit for Life, we do more than just chiropractic and more than just rehab. We do, there are nurse practitioners in the office. We do IV hydration drips. We do a lot of different things that don't require my hands, right? So that's how I'm able to balance that.
So this is the 120th year anniversary of the Olympics in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool thing. It's
exciting stuff.
So it kind of ties in a little bit as a historic date. And you've got experience where you were in the U.S. Army in combat.
Yep, I was.
And so you've seen the world.
Yeah, that was 2 lifetimes ago.
That was 2 lifetimes ago. Does it correlate, traveling around the world as a U.S. Army combat veteran? Thank you for your service. And now traveling abroad, with the U.S. Olympic team.
Well, I tell you what it helps, how that translates is I don't get upset when things change. Because things always change on the fly, right? So I'm very mobile and able to change like that. So, and just being a part of an organization that has a lot of logistics. There's a lot of logistics to moving these athletes and getting them everything that they need and making sure that all of our equipment arrives. In fact, like our medical equipment will be shipped far ahead of the time that we get there.
When you're with the athletes, you know, in the Olympics, what is your main function? I mean, and I'm sure you've got your adjustments and things like that, but I'm sure it's a lot more deep than that.
Well, Todd, the USATF, we have the med team is a team. So we have chiropractors, we have massage therapists, we have physical therapists, we have sports psych, we have athletic trainers. So each one of us plays a part. So honestly, really, a lot of what I do is just adjusting, and those other guys do maybe a lot more soft tissue work than I do. The ATCs, of course, are out on the field of play. They're on the track making sure everything is safe. If anyone goes down, they're the first responders for that. These are 20-year-olds, 20-something-year-olds who are operating on a high level. So just imagine the stress that an average 20-year-old is under, and times 100. So you just need to be like a soft place for those people to be able to land.
We have about a minute left. Who's the most famous person you've worked on, or with the Olympics or professional sports, and what's the best way to get a hold of Lift for Life Sports and Rehab?
Probably the greatest, in my opinion, person that I've ever worked on was Allison Felix. She is the sweetest person I've ever met in that, and with all of those stressors, she's so gracious. And that's what I appreciated about her and the longevity of her career. You can get in touch with me through 314-422-0788 is my number. Fit for Life Sports and Rehab is located at 1120 South 6th Street, Suite 110. There's a Cardinals game today, so parking is a little hairy. But my patients can always find a parking space because we block off spaces for them on the street.
Yeah, I saw some pictures with you with like former St. Louis and Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you've done a lot of cool things with Cardinal Ritter, and as I said earlier, Matthew's Dickey Boys and Girls Club. And we're so excited and proud. And I want to thank you for doing this interview and for what you're doing for the USA Olympics, because it seems like the USA they're going full bore.
Oh, we are. We are.
They're going full bore. And they're bringing all the, all the assets out to try to bring home the gold.
Right. And please support us. Please watch USA track and field. Watch us during the Olympics. Watch us during the trials. Whenever we're on television, because we need your support. We really do. We have a great team.
Well, Dr. Connie Hayes, thank you so much for joining us here today on
Thanks,
CityCorner.
Todd. It's been my pleasure.
That's our show for today. We especially like to thank our studio guests, Dr. Connie Hayes and Wendell Covington Jr. We'd like to thank you for watching City Corner on STL TV. Experience St. Louis.